It must never be forgotten that the Foursquare Church was founded by a missionary, a woman who had given her life to Jesus and instantly knew, in relationship with a new husband, that God had called her to a ministry that was global. She and her husband traveled to Hong Kong, and then getting there, pregnant with their first child, her husband tragically dies. She finds herself coming back home and trying to discern what God would have for her. And it's interesting that God leads her to evangelism, where she begins to share the gospel around the United States, and ultimately to plant a church in the city of Los Angeles. She wondered about that. Why would God have me plant a church? I'm an evangelist. But within just 2 years, we discover that God had something very powerful intended for this local church. That not only would it be a church reaching the city of Los Angeles, but reaching the Los Angeles in its complexity. You could come to Angelus Temple and in the balcony, find a group speaking your language, your culture, witnessing the gospel of Jesus. It spoke about the power of a local church in missions. That we don't only reach the people that are like us, we reach the people that aren't like us. Within these first years, the first missionary is sent, a Filipino back to the Philippines to minister the gospel. And in all this time, we're learning something. We're discovering the local church can be involved in global evangelization. As we think about missions, we recognize that it's infinitely complex. When you think about the nations, you think about languages and cultures, there's no simple way to talk about missions. But as a local church considers what God is saying to them, and as they think about how best they would do what God is saying to them, my prayer is that you'll see FMI as your missions partner. Most local churches, as they think pretty specific. And maybe you're thinking that way. Maybe you're thinking about planting a church. Maybe you think you should be in an orphanage or finding some way of doing ministry among prisoners in a country. But as a local church, if you believe that you've got a place in this global ministry, within the global Foursquare Church, we want to help you find that. And so how is God moving in your heart? What is God saying to you? And how can we partner with you? How can we facilitate with you this great ministry? You can get involved in world evangelization, in global mission, simply by praying. To go to the FMI website, downloading the prayer guide every month, praying through it day by day, praying for missionaries, praying for specific needs, that you can pray regularly, asking the Lord to move. We think about giving, and obviously there needs to be resources. And so as you give of your money, specifically to missionaries, to nations, or to specific works, or as you give your money generally, as you write your checks to FMI, supporting missionaries and missions around the world, those gifts are helping the world hear the good news of Jesus. And then you can go. Lots of ways you can go. You can go on a team. If you have a specialty, if you're a medical doctor or a school teacher, there might be ways you can go short-term into a country and serve, and as you serve, witness the gospel. And some of you are called to be missionaries. You can come to missionary training. We offer it throughout the year at different times, and you can be part of a 2-week training to discern the gift that God is calling you to. Within our own neighborhoods, we can do missions. Sister McPherson understood this even back at the founding of Angelus Temple. We're finding the world has come in international students. We think about college campuses and universities, and on these campuses are international students from around the world here to get a good education, to be trained to do work back home. Who will go home? Will they go home with the gospel? All of that is missions. And it's that partnership that FMI wants to nurture. That we together do the work of the ministry, that we facilitate what God is saying to you. God wants you to go into all the world, whether it's in your neighborhood or across the ocean, and we want to help you get there. The local church and FMI serving together, one ministry reaching our world, winning people to Jesus Christ.